Welcome to a Fortnight on the Isle. I am your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and for once I kept track of the past couple of weeks perfectly fine. The last few of these Fortnights on the Isle have been mixed bag between both weeks feeling like an eternity and the weeks passing by so quick that I basically forgot to make the video. I believe the most recent Fortnight before this one, I ended up making the video like the day it was supposed to release, releasing it a few hours late on account of just straight up forgetting. This time, I'm not forgetting. In fact, I'm actually recording it a couple of days early because this time I remembered. So, yeah. Unfortunately, the last couple of weeks were largely pretty uneventful, but fortunately that means that I don't have a ton to say, so maybe this Fortnight will be a little bit shorter than normal. Alas, there are a few updates for you guys, so let's get on with it as always, and timestamps are of course in the description down below for the different sections that you're actually interested in hearing about. But for now, we'll begin just like always with the bi-weekly reading, the literature, the stuff that I've read the last couple of weeks, and truth be told, it's not much at all. Basically, all I did was I finished reading House of Leaves, and even finishing this took a couple more days than I intended on account of just getting behind and being a little bit slower. And finishing House of Leaves was great. Ultimately, it definitely came back around on itself and just was ultimately very satisfying. I found the entire experience to be really, really good, except for some of the Johnny Truant stuff being a little bit out there. But even the Johnny Truant stuff ultimately came into itself good enough, meant enough, did enough to be worth reading. And the book in and of itself was just an experience that was really enjoyable for me, and I would generally recommend people give it a shot if they think they're up for it, but do be prepared for the experience that it is going to be because of how unique it is. It's honestly its greatest strength, but could also be its greatest weakness if you're not prepared for that, or if that's not what you're looking for. I enjoyed House of Leaves a good bit. The other thing is that I started reading Immoral and Malevolent Happenings, which is a book by Alex Inglis, the frontman of Before I Turn, a metalcore band that I really enjoy. This book is going to be released probably somewhere around the same time as the next Before I Turn album. They're meant to be companion pieces to each other, if I'm not mistaken. I am copy editing this book for him. I didn't get as far in the last couple of weeks as I frankly should have, so I need to be buckling down over this next upcoming Fortnight to basically finish that if possible. That is what I'm going to be working on primarily over the next couple of weeks, but I did start reading that, got a few chapters in, and the opening is pretty strong, actually, I gotta admit. So, but maybe part of that is because the Sweeney Todd influence is really cool to see, and also because I'm already invested in a good bit of the story of what this book is continuing, because the book and album are continuing the story of a couple of albums that the band has already released. So because I'm already invested in that, maybe I'm a little bit biased in terms of my enjoyment of the book so far, but that is what I started. But that is basically everything that I've read the last couple of weeks. All I know is that on my TBR docket is, technically coming up on a lie here, Knife of Dreams by Robert Jordan. The book is in my bedroom over there, so I can't actually grab it right now. I didn't grab it before I started recording. I did technically start reading this morning when I'm recording this. By the time this video comes out, I should be done with the prologue, which doesn't sound like much, but Knife of Dreams is the longest prologue in the series, I'm pretty sure. It's a solid 80 pages. So I'll be through the prologue by the time this video releases. And so far the opening, I've gone through a few scenes. It's good enough, but basically don't have anything really to say on it at this point. But over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be trying to buckle down as much on that as possible. I want to be done with both Immoral and Malevolent Happenings and with Knife of Dreams, both of them, before I wind up going to North Carolina here on November 13th. That's going to be the day that I leave. So I have 2.5 weeks basically, if I'm doing the math right on that, to be able to get through both of these books. And that's pretty tight timing to get through both of them, considering one is copy editing and therefore very time consuming, and the other one is just a long Wheel of Time book and therefore time consuming. So we'll see how things go, but that's all that I have in terms of the reading. So we'll talk about the bi-weekly gaming. Right at the moment that I'm recording this video, actually, I've done a couple of live streams for games, and these are most of the gaming that I've done the last couple of weeks. Last week, I did do my second live stream for Little Nightmares 3. Played the back half of that game solo because Josh couldn't make it for that stream, and in the time since then I've also played a lot more of it, nearly have the platinum for that game, only have about 45 minutes left in the last chapter of that for now, and then I gotta do co-op again with Josh at some other point to be able to get the co-op trophy so that I can have the platinum. That'll be fun. Very nearly done with Little Nightmares 3. It's kind of okay. It's just more Little Nightmares, but not as good as either of the first two games, which I feel like I'm allowed to say because just now, at the time that I'm recording this, like I was saying before, I literally just finished streaming Little Nightmares 2, so I just got that done, and going to be streaming Little Nightmares 1 this weekend, so going to be having a little bit more fun for that, but that's about all that I have in terms of the gaming this fortnight, and don't think I'm going to be getting any done in November, so this might be the last you hear about gaming for a little while. Not that much, that's about all there is to it. For the bi-weekly cinema, film, and TV stuff, nothing to report here at all. I nearly went to see one or another, or maybe both of a couple movies a few days ago when I went to visit a friend in the next town over. And I ultimately decided, after doing a double feature of The Smashing Machine and Tron Ares a few weeks back, that maybe I didn't actually want to spend that kind of money again, because going to the theater is expensive, even if you don't get concessions. And I needed to just be able to hang out and talk with him this day anyway, so we didn't watch anything, probably not going to be watching anything in the near future either. So, like I said, basically nothing to report on the bi-weekly cinema, which takes us into the bulk of what this video is going to end up being about. That is the upcoming releases, what I've got going on my channels for this fortnight. This week and next week, I have basically 4 things planned for each week, with a 5th thing to be determined, like maybe but probably won't happen, so we'll talk about all this in turn. So tomorrow on the 27th on the second channel will be Movie Magic episode 10. That will be my review of The Smashing Machine, covering that movie. That'll be a fun time. On Tuesday the 28th on the main channel will be my book review of Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes. Finally getting around to reviewing that. Had some other videos that I wanted to prioritize over that, so I hope that the people who didn't watch the spoiler diaries, because there were spoilers, watch the review. We'll see how that goes. I don't anticipate that video performing super well. Thursday the 30th will be episode 272 of the Book Binge, and that will be Was I Wrong About Blood Meridian? Basically reacting and commentating about the review of Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy that I released a year ago at this point, and kind of the way that my opinion has solidified and also gotten a little bit more lenient over the past year, depending on how you're talking about it and what way, reacting to the review because it was not a good review, and like I said, commentating on that and also discussing some of the comments. So that's a pretty lengthy video, but I had an enjoyable time doing that. That'll be out this Thursday. On Friday, the 31st, on the second channel, will be, like I teased before, my Halloween live stream. That'll be Little Nightmares 1, the enhanced edition of that game. So I'll be playing through the entire game plus all of the DLC that day. That'll be hopefully a very fun time. I'm looking forward to that for sure, especially now that I've played Little Nightmares 3 a couple times and Little Nightmares 2 again. I'm looking forward to checking out the first one, particularly in an enhanced edition. I think because it's got a little light remaster going on with this, so I'm hoping that will be good. A debatable video that could come out this week, Wednesday the 29th, could be a brief review, episode 4 on the second channel, reviewing Little Nightmares 3, but I would be pretty surprised if I managed to get that written, let alone get the entire video done before Wednesday. In fact, I'm fairly certain it's not going to happen. I just don't really have time for that right now. I need to be buckling down on a couple of other work projects instead, so it's probably not going to happen, but perhaps a tentative potential release. Next week, I've also got 4 videos that will be coming out, and a 5th one that I would like to come out, but probably won't happen until a good bit later. So we'll talk about all these in turn. Tomorrow, or sorry, not tomorrow, next Monday on the 3rd of October will be Music Mania episode 19, just ranking all of the albums and EPs, album and EP releases that I checked out from October 2025. So just my regular monthly Music Mania thing over there. Tuesday the 4th will be my October reading wrap-up and TBR video on the main channel. So just, again, doing my regular monthly thing. The first Tuesday of every month is when I do that. So that's what's coming out then. Next Wednesday on the 5th will be another regular monthly video. That'll be the state of affairs for both of these couple channels. November 2025 state of affairs, wrapping up October, looking forward ahead to November. That should be a fairly simple video as well on account of the upcoming North Carolina trip. That's going to be a major part of my month for sure, especially as somebody who does not really travel or do anything or go anywhere anyway. So yeah, that'll be happening on Wednesday. On the 6th, next Thursday, will optimally be the first episode of the Wheel of Time Diaries regarding Knife of Dreams, so that'll be like episode 55 of the entire series. Like I said, I would like to have the book done sooner than later before I go on my trip so that I don't have any like week-long break, basically, where I'm not reading the book and therefore not producing any diaries, because I'm not anticipating being able to read on that trip basically at all. So I'm trying to have the book done before then so that I can do all the diaries for the month ahead of time. But if nothing else, I should at least be able to get the first episode for Knife of Dreams out on the 6th. The 5th variable thing would be on the 7th, would be on Friday when I start doing my next Let's Play. I was hoping to get my next Let's Play started on the 7th, and I don't think it's going to happen. I decided based off of that video that I had released a little while back on the second channel asking for people to vote on my next Let's Play and live stream things. I got a tied response for Alan Wake Remastered and Dead Space Remake. Those are the two front runners on that poll. And I ultimately decided that I'm going to play Alan Wake Remastered first and make that my next Let's Play on the channel. But I don't think I have time at this point. It's too late in October for me to carve out time for recording a Let's Play, even if just a couple hours to start it. So I think it'll probably be something that I do after I'm back from North Carolina. So maybe that Let's Play won't actually happen till starting in December or something, or maybe not even starting until January to give me a little bit of buffer period for that. I'm not entirely sure yet. We'll see what happens. But I'm fairly certain that's not actually going to happen on Friday anymore, on the 7th, like I was initially planning when I was doing stuff in my planner. So like I said, we'll see what happens, but those are the upcoming releases. Basically nothing else to add at the very end of this video, just trying to get a little bit back on track. The last couple months, this autumn entirely, has just been pretty messy, and 2025 in general has been a very messy year. We'll see what I can get done, but yeah, I don't really have much else besides just trying to get back on track with work and copy editing and even reading and stuff like that to a degree these next couple of weeks, especially since I need to get back on track with all those stuff to get some projects done before I'm actually gone for a week out of town, where I almost certainly will not have any time and or brain power to be able to work. So that's what I've got going on right now. Thank you for watching this update. If you did, I really appreciate it. I do hope this video was a little bit shorter than the last few of these have been. I don't think I've had a Fortnite on the Isle be shorter than 20 minutes, or even shorter than like 18 minutes at this point for a very long time, so I'm pretty happy about this one actually cutting it a little bit short. Thank you one final time for watching. For now, I've been your host, King Crusoe. You can call me KC, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.